a little pre-party going. We're gonna do some questions. I'm gonna
I'm
talk to
pre-gaming
this
with a
guy.
little. I'm pre-gaming with a little San Pellegrino right
Uh,
here.
oh
Lemon,
shit,
lemon and lemon zest, delicious.
twins! I got the same thing except for in the plastic bottle
There
version.
you go. Delicious, non-alcoholic, refreshing. Feel rejuvenated just by having a little bit of that San Pellegrino. Anyway, sorry.
Hey, so let me give you a proper intro. We got the one and only London Bridge.
So,
This man came up with Space Yacht and everything to do with it. The which now, from a successful party to now successful label, and now this guy is killing it with the NFTs. They do Tune Reactor a couple times a week.
oh yeah.
Um, Man, probably
Tune-
my favorite parties to play. Space Yacht. I've done a handful of them, and man, the you guys know how to throw a motherfucking party. Let me say that at the least,
Fun vibe. It's a fun vibe.
So let's start right from where it started before Space Yacht. When you got into DJing and started going by London Bridge, give us the background. You're from New
Oh,
York, right?
yeah, for sure.
So give us a little
Um,
background. What inspired you? How you came up with the name? How you got into this DJ game?
yeah, absolutely. No, my story goes kind of way back. I come from a musical family. My dad's a musician, and a couple folks in my. I'm one of five kids. We all studied music growing up, and so I was in bands growing up, playing drums. Played a lot of guitar in college, and kind of did the kind of singer songwriter route. So like moved to LA. Grew up in New York City, but moved to LA to like try to be in like an indie band. That was like I came here to pursue that, and
I seen a
so
picture. I think where you had a
yeah,
full
so
head of hair.
yeah, for sure. And in college, before that band, in college, I actually got a pair of Technic 1200s and started collecting and DJing vinyl after having like studied abroad and hearing like house music in Italy for like 6 months, and I just got like totally hooked. So I actually started kind of DJing. Um, before kind of the DJ stuff kind of blew up, just when like and just DJing house parties. It wasn't like the scene now where you have all these different clubs to play. Um, there was obviously like the Danny Tenaglias and big like, you know, Cascade even back then was just killing like the actual warehouse scene and the real party scene. But for a kid in college, it was more like you play college house parties and stuff.
What
like
year
that.
was
So
this?
this was like 2001, 2002, kind of that era. So and then I actually stopped DJing for a while, did the band thing, and then I came back to DJing basically like there was two things that happened. One was hard summer, I think 2013. I saw Claude Von Stroke play in one of the tents there, and it was the first time I'd seen him play, and I was just like, I was just kind of like, this seems to me to be like something that like I would love to do, because like I was always in a band and always wanted to be on stage, but like the way Claude was just like, he's just a laid back dude. He looked like he was having fun doing what he was doing, and the crowd like loved it, and it was like very laid back, and I think that's what I responded to, was like didn't have to be all like that serious about being a musician, because I think when I was in bands I was very serious about trying to be a professional like musician and to make it and get a record deal, and like that my headspace was very kind of fogged up with those thoughts. And so when I saw Claude, I was like, this just looks like joy and looks like some fun, and I want to be a part of that and not worry about all the bullshit I was dealing with like trying to have my band be successful or whatever. So I started London Bridge shortly after that with a friend. It was originally a duo, my friend Eric, and I said to him, I was like, the goal of this project is to just have fun and like not worry about what we're gonna do with the music. Let's literally just like be best friends, like drink some whiskey and make some cool shit.
Hell yeah.
And that was like literally the first day, like I kind of gave him a lecture. I was like, if we do this in a way where we're thinking about anything but having fun, then like we're failing this concept, because I just kind of had that epiphany that I'd been fucking up all that time with a mindset that was so focused on not the music. So started London Bridge, and then my wife, my now wife, but my then girlfriend, she worked at Red Light Management and worked with Borgor randomly. Amazing, like one of my favorite dubstep pioneers and just crazy people. So I got some early gigs as LondonBridge because I got to like open for Borgor and a couple other like cool folks who like didn't necessarily fit with like where I'm at now and like the community that we have now, but it was good looks for me, like being able to play at like, you know, Palladium and being able to play at like these big venues when I'm nobody, right? So early on, I got some nice looks, and then I was still working a day job then. I mean, I worked a day job up until a couple of years ago, like even like years into Space Yacht, I had a day job. So I met Henry, my business partner who started Space Yacht with me. I met him at our day job where we were working like social media accounts for like celebrities and actually some DJs as well. Like we did Steve Aoki's we did like Steve Aoki's Facebook page, and we did like, you know, the music video for the Chainsmokers, that selfie music video with all the influencers. We produced that. It was like a really cool company that did lots of different shit, but our main focus was like working with influencers and then also like managing pages for celebrities and DJs. So I met Henry there, and I just started playing him the LondonBridge stuff that I was writing with my friend Eric, just to get his take, because like we weren't like that tight at work, but like I just knew like he had thrown shows in college, and I knew he was like a hip dude. You know what I'm saying? Like I was like, this is a cool guy. So I'm like, yo, like, is this shit good? Is it whack? Like, what? Tell me what the deal. And so we'd like spend late nights after work, like after everybody'd leave around 7:30, 8 o'clock, me and him and Ollie. There was actually a third person who helped start Space Yacht with us in the first couple of years. We just listened to stuff, and then I got really into, like at that time, really into all the stuff coming off of the Cuff label, you know, out of like with Amine Edge and Dance, Clyde P.
The OG's a kind of G House, right?
OG G House shit, yeah, for real, like all that stuff, as well as like Sharam J and like the Bunny Tiger label. And so like I kind of caught the bug of that specific style, honestly, of like French G House is really what it was. Early Shiba San, Timburesco, like that whole Cuff gang. So that's where my inspiration was like starting to go in terms of what I was liking to listen to and DJ. And then Henry was like, word, like it just came about where I was like, let's do an event, because for me selfishly I wanted to DJ, like, because I was like, all right, LondonBridge is starting to formulate what it is. I've got these songs, I like the G House shit, now I can like go and present myself as this first incarnation. And then so we found this venue that was had just opened in Hollywood. It was a speakeasy. You had to literally walk through a parking lot and then through an alley and then like down a set of stairs. Like you did not know where this place was. This place was like hidden away. And so I met the owner and just was like, yo, bro, like we've been wanting to throw a party. Like, can we just do one here? And like, we promise, like if it's whack, we won't, whatever. Like we were just like, if it's whack, we'll never do it again, but like, give us a try. And he said, no, absolutely. It was a really cool spot. It was called the Golden Box. And it held about 100 people. And like the DJ booth was like this old bird cage, like looking like old, like elevator shaft, but it looked like a big bird cage. And the DJ set was in there. And,
this was downtown LA?
No, this was in Hollywood, like direct in Hollywood. So it was actually across the street from where we have been for the last 3 years at Sound, where you've been to Sound as well. So literally across the street, and the building doesn't exist anymore. It was knocked down. So like, literally,
what year was this?
This was 2015. So this
shit.
was the first. That was year one. Was like January 9th, I think. 2015 was the first Space Yacht, and it was just like legendary. So we were there for about a year at that venue. Like we did the first party. We had Ghastly, OK. I played a couple of, a lot of people were there. People like Dr. Fresh, Jaws, like all these folks like lived really close by. So it was just like everybody heard, oh shit, Ghastly's playing. Like, let's go fucking mob. And it was a Tuesday. So people weren't on tour. People were around, and Tuesdays, like a lot of times everybody's in LA. So it just kind of popped off the first one. And then, we started doing it weekly, and they weren't like all hits right away. There were definitely nights that were kind of fucked, and like there's like 40 people there. And then there were nights where like all of the plumbing broke, so it smelled literally like a sewer, and you had to like pretend, like straight up. There were 2 weeks in a row where it like smelled like shit, and it was like, yeah, come to my party. It smells like shit. You're gonna love it. It's just so.
Growing pains.
Yeah, totally. So kind of like Space Yacht kind of took off from there. There's like a lot of kind of other history that goes from there, but like the origins of it really come from like I started the LondonBridge project. Henry like had a background in throwing shows. We kind of came together, kind of out of mutual interest, so to speak. And then like once like really what really started happening is like even though not every show in the first 6 months was a hit, that we had enough, like at least one per month where something magical would happen. So we had like the third one, Autoerotic played, and Steve Aoki showed up, and they did a 2-hour back-to-back, and then we had days where like A-Track showed up with like OK and a bunch of other folks, and it's like that type of stuff where you like kind of, it could be in a movie where it's like this kind of, where you're like, holy shit, this person's here and this person, that stuff happened a lot in the first year. So, and it, like, you had to know about it. So it was super like DJs, like managers and agents, and then kind of popular DJs, but not like the masses. So the buzz kind of got out just through word of mouth because it was this kind of coveted, like you had to know about it thing.
So that was intentional to begin, because for people that don't know that are watching, most of your lineups are usually fill in the blank almost. So right. So or how would you actually describe how that like incognito word of mouth question marks?
The way we do the lineups in the last 3 years are very different, I think, from how we did it in the first like 2 years, because in the first 2 years we were like still convincing people to like play our shows. We didn't have any rep really. So the lineups back then were much more like, you didn't necessarily have those headliners announced. All of those things kind of happened where like that person just fucking showed up and just like got on the decks. And so it was more of that as opposed to we booked big people. We actually, for the for the first couple of years, booked nobodies. And then it just happened to be like they were homies, or that happens to be Keizo's roommate, or that happens, and it just
some
became
LA shit.
It became a scene. That's what it was. It became a scene. And to your point, now the lineups have been much more like, we're doing a Tech My House show. Let's get fucking Omnom to fucking play that shit, or Vanessa. We're taking these people who've come through the Space Yacht world and have become their own artists, and so there's a little bit of a different complexion to who we book now, because it's like, we book bigger people, but they're people who's like some of their first shows were at Space Yacht, so it's like they're growing and we're growing along with them. But I think when it comes to Space Yacht, for those who like have never been, or like the core of our brand is about being a platform for new artists, like period. Like all the fancy stuff with like the big artists who play or people who show up and that kind of stuff, that's like icing on the cake for us. Like our mission is to shed light on people who may have like one song that they've ever produced, but if it's that dope, we want you to know about it. So all of our lineups have always been about that. It's like, yes, of course we want to like have people know who's on the bill, but it's like, once we get that headliner, then I'm like, cool, I'm going to put 2 people on here you've never heard of to give them a look, and everybody kind of grows together. So that's the core of like how we started the event. And then we've brought that philosophy into all of the other things that we do, namely specifically like the record label, because COVID shut down all of our events. The label was kind of the obvious thing for us to be doing. And, if you look at our signings, like most people are not people that you've heard of. I mean, it's just not. It's all people we met through Twitch on our show Tune Reactor. So that's just kind of the, for those who just like have no idea what we do there, it's like that's what our mission is, and that's what we're trying to do. So
man, I love that, and love you guys obviously. So like that's probably the coolest thing is really, what haven't you done so far? I remember going over to I don't know if it was your place where Trevor Bones lived, and going over, and I got hooked up with a Space Yacht weed pen, a Space Yacht hat. And then we got, this is the Bella. Space Yacht. Who is it?
Bella.
What's up, Bella?
Bella just joined the chat.
What's up, Bella? Drop some couple mores for Bella. So it's grown from working with dope artists. I kind of do the same thing with Holy Moly. You guys do 2 of my homies, Truth and Lies, did the record with them.
Yeah.
Me and CLB have had this record that's supposed to come out with 2 years. It's finally coming out in a couple months. And growing, to me, the future of the underground that eventually becomes, above ground, but really we all come from the underground. So what's next? So now I see you guys, so you're doing the label, you're doing Tune Reactor a few times a week. And so you're picking tunes right from there and then releasing them on your label that you like, basically?
Yeah, I'd say 85 to 90% of what we've signed has been found there. And it doesn't mean that
Amazing.
we take it as is. Like we definitely, you know, A&R some of it and work on the mix of certain things, or if it's missing something. So obviously if it's hot on its own and we just sign it, then that's even better. But we definitely take care in trying to help get the record to be as good as it can be. And yeah, I think kind of news on Tune Reactor, just kind of like one of the things that's going to be interesting is like we do 3 days a week, but Fridays are now going to be on Monster Cat. So we're going to be basically taking over their channel and doing the show on their channel every Friday. Just as a way, like the way that you're doing the Dirty Bird, your show on Dirty Bird, it's like we're going to do that because it's dope, because Monster Cat has such a different style of music from us. So we're excited about being able to kind of, it's less about signing records from that show. It's more about just like giving good feedback and trying to be smart on the air and trying to help people, you know, level up their production. So yeah, so Fridays at Monster Cat, not this week, but the week after we're going to premiere. So that's a kind of cool development for us on that end. I don't know if you saw like what we did with Future Fest. We did this like really dope VR live stream. So we're working with them on another live stream like that, where it's like, you know, the DJ's in the virtual world, and then also like you're able to control what happens, like using the Twitch chat and control like different activities that happen. So we're really super pumped about working with them as well. So those are kind of the two big things in like the streaming world that we're working on.
So explain that to me a little bit more. So the when you're doing the virtual world, because we've been talking about doing a Code's house where someone's going to actually build a club for me.
Yes.
It's a virtual club. But so are you streaming that on Twitch, or is there another platform that you stream on, or how does that work?
Yeah, so it's a cool setup, and it's basically a team that has built these stages, but it all streams through Twitch. So this isn't straight up VR. It's not a headset experience. It's just like a watching on Twitch experience. But just like how like Lightning in a Bottle or Tomorrow World did, where it's like the DJ is the DJ. It's like me. It's like you're in your virtual world, but it's a 3D virtual world that's dynamic and that has different camera movement and different stuff like that. So, so they built us for this show. They built us 5 different stages, and then from those stages, we're going to kind of continue to throw shows on those stages. But it's all through Twitch right now, with the idea that it could potentially be ported over to VR for kind of a headset experience. But I like starting with this in the kind of, because it's something everybody can get accustomed to and just kind of do without needing a headset for now. And then I feel like there's going to be a point in time where enough people have headsets where you can start to port it over to a virtual world, kind of more for the mass people. So we're really pumped. I mean, it's very cool to learn this. I mean, the way that we do it is it's just all, you know, it's a green screen room, and like the even the table is green screen. So really it's just kind of similar to how you do your live streams, where it's just like you're in that green screen world, and then you're ported into the stages, and very cool.
Well, it seems like it's almost like you have this like Space Yacht universe where you have different venues that you could go to for everyone's set.
Totally.
So like each room or each set is a different wild venue somewhere in freaking
100%.
the universe.
100%.
So wild, man. So that's what excites me and gets me going, is just the streaming has taken it, you know, to this it's pushed the boundaries of what you can do with DJing, with making music, with pushing music, with like, you know, the land. I always say this: the landscape has changed,
right,
drastically,
right.
And the people that are doing, like, I would say, as you know, you guys have been doing that with parties for the past 5 years, but also now in the digital realm, pushing the limits of what creatively, the creative boundaries that you have, and you know, follow that up, we got to talk about the NFTs and you know, just crypto in general has just exploded since everybody's income and health and livelihood and basic human rights like dancing in a club have all been taken away. So now we evolve, and now there's a new outlet, a new way to get your music heard, get your music. What I think is one of the most important things about NFTs is permanently, forever in the blockchain, whatever that is that you made, whatever music, whatever 3D animated, whatever it is, it's there forever, and there's nothing that it's never going to be removed. And that's what I think is so amazing, because whether it's music or artwork or whatever, things deteriorate, things get lost, things corrupt, all that kind of stuff. This is like a forever thing. So for people that don't know about non-fungible tokens, NFTs, probably nifties, whatever you want to call them, give us a little explanation of what it is, and then what you guys are actually doing and pushing the culture with that.
Totally, absolutely. And it's crazy because it just seems like it's in everybody's feeds right now, just like kind of overnight. And all the while there's been kind of all of this stuff brewing, because the scene of people who've been in NFTs has been going on for a while. But basically, just to break it down, there was an innate problem within the digital world about ownership, right? It's like, how am I able to own something in the digital world? How do I know it's mine? How do I pay for it? How does someone get paid to sell it, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? So basically, the whole point of an NFT is it's the ability to authenticate something and make it so that I can verify that this thing is yours. So think about a painter who signs their painting, right? And that signature kind of authenticates that it's an original, right? Or there's like artist prints where they're like a series, right? It's one of 20, and there's like a little signature, and then maybe it even comes with like a certificate of authenticity from like the gallery, right? Those are things that we've seen before and we understand. So the way to think about an NFT is that the NFT holds the data of that video or that song or that fucking cooking recipe from Rachel Ray, whatever it is. It can hold data, digital data, and basically authenticate the fact that it's yours and enable you to buy and sell it. Basically, it's a token that holds that. So when you're buying an NFT, the actual technology behind it is the fact that you're creating a token on the blockchain that is unique to that digital asset. So for example, let's break it down even further. So let's say I have a picture of this hydro flask, right? Not the hydro flask itself, just it's a picture of the hydro flask, and I want to make that as a one-of-one NFT. So basically, I have my picture, my JPEG, or whatever format it is, and basically what I would do is I would what's called mint that on the blockchain. There's a kind of way to put it on the blockchain where it then becomes connected to that token, right? And then that token can be traded and sold, etc. But really, that token is a representation of that picture of the hydro flask, right? So it's all about just making sure that that picture is the one of one, and it's connected to this token. The best way to think about overall is it's just collectibles. It's baseball cards, Pokemon cards, hats, sneakers, anything that we've collected that's physical, art, anything that we've collected. It's just the same shit. It's just the format is digital as opposed to physical, but it's that same type of emotion behind why people are paying a lot of money for things, whether it's art or yesterday, the coolest shit happened. Fucking Disclosure. One of the guys went on Twitch, produced a track live on Twitch, bounced it, minted it on the blockchain, and then put it up for sale as a one-of-one NFT. Very cool, right? It's like nobody thought of that. He thought of to do that. Blau over the weekend sold like $11 million worth of NFTs. Like he had his whole album as an NFT or a series of NFTs. So where we are right now in the whole kind of world of it is we are just at the beginning. That we are just at the beginning of the creativity that's going to come out of this. We haven't thought of the hundreds of different applications that there will be by using this NFT, or rather blockchain technology, because like you said in the beginning, Cody, you were saying that like what you like is that it's there forever. And that's the whole point of the blockchain, is that like it creates a record that can never be changed. So you'll always know who made that token, how much they sold it for, how much it was resold for, what wallets it went into, who's owned it. It has this, and you can't change that. That's the whole reason, like the blockchain can't be changed. So that's what becomes interesting about the collectability, like the baseball cards of it, or the comic book idea, where I buy this Disclosure song that he just did, and then I have it in my collection. Like I'm collecting it, and there's value to that because somebody else might want it for their collection, right? So the market then determines how much it's worth. The market is going to say, okay, the Disclosure song sold for $1 million. Great. but there might be somebody over here after you've done that who thinks it's worth 3 million is willing to pay that, right? So then it's worth $3 million, right? So that's how the economics of these NFTs will work, at least in part in the beginning, where it's kind of whatever people are willing to pay for it and the value that they perceive of it. And then the market will either support that or not, meaning the market will either say, yes, you can sell that for $10,000 because there's a lot of people willing to pay that, or it'll say, you bought that for $10,000, but the reality is nobody actually wants to buy it for you for $10,000, so it's actually worth more like $100, right? So that's the fluctuation of how the NFTs will be valued, and that's all going to be different for every artist, for every musician. Some musicians are going to make NFTs and not sell a single thing. Some people are going to sell shit for a lot of money and then it's going to deteriorate. Some people are going to sell things for nothing and it's going to be worth a lot. So I don't know. I could talk about this forever. I don't want to like bore people with this stuff, but I mean we're going to a place where people are going to be able to monetize their art in a way that they never could before. And you know, there's this Blau said this. He tweeted. He's like, you know, we're giving the power back to the artists, right? With the concept that an artist can just like make their own NFT, sell it, and get paid directly. But what I would say is not that we're taking like power back from the artist, is that we're actually giving power to the artists for the first time in history. Because you look back at like modern culture in terms of like music and art, all of the composers were court composers. They were hired by the court. They were hired by the royalty. They worked for the royals and created these pieces of music for the royalty, right? Or somebody really rich. Same with, you know, when it comes to music, like you have this payola, like how do you get on the radio? Well, you got to pay off the fucking radio stations. Well, who can do that? The corporate major labels can do that, right? So they're controlling the money there in that scenario as well. They're the gatekeepers. And these gatekeepers select 3 people. There's like 3 Drakes. There's Drake and there's Gaga, but that's it. Only 3 people. There's millions of people who want to do this, right? So now you have no gatekeeper. I think that becomes the point. And for the first time, you have no gatekeeper because you literally don't have to be beholden to anybody. You can literally just mint an NFT, and the value that it's worth is going to be what your fans want it to be. You know, so if you can sell a bunch of shit for a lot of money, then good on you, and that's what it's valued at. It also changes the dynamic of Instagram, like altogether. It's like, how are these digital artists who are making money now on NFTs going to want to give their work away for free on their Instagram page? I don't see it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like the Instagram now becomes a promotion for the NFT. So actually, maybe they do keep it. Actually, maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe they keep it, but it's now seen as like a promotional tool, saying, yeah, here's the image of it. Go buy the NFT. So actually, maybe that's not such a bad thing. I changed my mind on that. Anyway, I could talk about it forever, but those are kind of my initial thoughts. Hold on. There's somebody in the chat saying there's many marketplaces, Rarible, OpenSea are 2 of the top that you can register and mint. Minting costs fees and ETH. Yeah, that's true. So yeah, so one thing that's a really good point. One thing for people to understand in the technology is that you don't just mint an NFT and then you sell it and it's all good. There's something called gas prices, which is basically the cost to put that token on the blockchain, and gas prices can go up or down based on how many people are using the network. So sometimes it can be $100 to mint a single NFT sometimes if gas prices are high. So it's not a zero cost of goods in terms of creating these. Like if you think about merch, right? Like Cody, you do merch also. It's like, it's not just like, oh, here's a t-shirt, buy it for $35 and I get $35. There was a cost to making that t-shirt. You had to spend,
especially if you got to send it to Canada.
Yeah, exactly right. You had to spend money in order to then kind of get a little bit of money, you know, from that sale. So I will say on NFTs, you have to understand there is that element where it's not just free. It's like, yeah, if you want to make 10 NFTs, there might be a day where the gas prices are really high and you just spent $100 on each of those, you know, it's $1,000, right? So important for people to understand that it's not just like free stuff. And I also think it's important for people to understand that like, it's just like music. You still have to have an audience and people who care about you enough to want to buy it. Like it's not, you know, like when you read all of these things in Twitter and NFTs are everywhere and all these stories about people making all this money. Yeah, the people who are making money are already rich and famous. That's who's making money right now. You know, like, and the people like Beeple and the true artists, they are huge on Instagram and are already famous, even though they weren't household names. So it's really important for people to understand that these stories are great and you should go after it, but it still has to be about the art and the passion and the work, because if you don't have the work to back it up, who's going to want to? Why would somebody want to buy it? So I think it's you got to manage expectations there.
That's the beauty of cryptocurrency, is decentralizing, taking away the centralization of money, basically, is what it started out with, right? And like now it moves to art, and it's like that's taking away the gatekeepers and the centralization of a couple people controlling everything, and that's why it's fucking awesome. And the, I guess, to touch on the gas stuff too, is that's a big problem right now. Is I as we talk on the show every week, I usually mention a little something about cryptocurrency, but the gas prices on Ethereum are so crazy because there's so many fucking people doing it right now. But until Ethereum comes up with the next layer, the layer 2 of Ethereum, this congestion and prices are going to be like that. So the beauty of it, though, there's just really cool stuff going on. No matter what you're into, what you like, decentralized, awesome fucking technology is going on right now.
It's exciting. We're witnessing history. Like, this is a point in,
I mean, more of that developing it, evolving.
Yeah, no, and everyone's like, everyone's just so excited, and every day feels like, a month in this space. It's like we did our first drop, I believe May of last summer, some point like that. Very early on, we were like a guinea pig for Nifty in the early stages for them, just because they wanted to reach our audience, because they're like, let's get these kids knowing about it. Like, he's like, does anybody in Space Yacht community know about crypto? And we're like, we don't really think so, and we don't either. And they're like, all right, cool. Like let's put it together. And it's just, when I think about that first drop that we did, and us like being on our Twitch channel explaining NFTs to people, and people being like, we don't know what the fuck you're talking about, then to go to now where it is like literally like it's more popular than Bitcoin right now in terms of like trending topics, right? So it's kind of amazing to see how far we've come. And like this next drop, I saw you say in the chat, we have a drop on Monday on Nifty. This next drop is pretty cool for us because this is our third collection. Like, we have like 6 pieces in this collection. The last collection we dropped had about 14. The first one had about 12. So like, we have a lot of work out in the space of NFTs. And this drop on Monday, I'm just super pumped because we're even more developed in what we're making. Like, the animator from our team like has his shit is just kind of leveled up, and then the music that I composed for it is like, I took it way more seriously, because I was like, these are now that NFTs have been accepted in the community, these mean a lot more than just the money. These are the rep, right? It's like if it says like songs by LondonBridge and someone buys these, and that this is part of like our catalog, these better be fucking tight. You know what I mean? You can't fucking, because now it's just as important as if I put it up on Spotify, if not more important. You know what I'm saying? The amount of traffic that these get, and the speed at which they've been selling out and then traded on the aftermarket. Like, I know how many people are fucking with our stuff, and it's a lot more there than for just like if I put a LondonBridge track up on Spotify. You know what I mean? So I'm pumped, and I really am excited to share the music with everybody. Like, it's much more to my roots. I mentioned like I used to be in a band, so like it's much more that kind of indie pop stuff. It's got some house in it, but I really think of these as more kind of like LondonBridge as like kind of a different project on some level. It's almost like it's like just more like what I would do outside of the club, kind of.
Well, it seems to follow suit with what you were saying before with Space Yacht, where you're like, kind of on the cutting edge, where like this DJ or producer is going to be dope. Like, watch, we're going to have him here play first, or her first, and then a year later, they're playing all over the world. And it's the same thing. A year ago, nobody had any idea what the fuck an NFT was. Like, nobody did. So like, that's the cutting edge of all that. So like, following suit with the brand, I love it, man. One more thing I wanted to touch on that is that I think is really, really important, is that the ownership and perpetuity, which is another thing that is just a almost unheard of in especially the major label music game. But like, really in a lot. So like of digital art, you know, traditional art, any kind of art, music, whatever. So maybe that's something that I wanted to ask you too, is how does that work with, you know, every time you sell, I'm correct me if I'm wrong, I think that you can resell and you set the percentage that you get every time it's resold, which
Right. You get paid on, like, the artist gets paid on the back
forever.
on every sale, right? Like, where you can sell it to 100 different people, and so the artist gets their cut every time, which is an incredible aspect of the whole technology. And because, you know what I'm saying? Because, like, in no other setting before this was the artist ever cut in. You have, you know, if let's say you're a painter and you show at a gallery, you know, that gallery takes whatever their cut is, you sell the painting, and that's it. But then that painting sold all over the world, they're not sending you a check, right? So now that becomes kind of standard practice, and it's very cool. It's not just for visual artists. It's like, well, let's go back to that disclosure example from yesterday. It's like, yeah, now when that's resold and resold and resold and resold, you know, disclosure will, you know, get that residual. Now, the one thing I don't know, and so this is my ignorance, I don't know if that applies to every system, where it's like, if you take it off of Rarible and put it on OpenSea, how that translates. I'd have to like look up what the deal is, because I've heard different things. I know, like on Nifty, for example, if you buy something on Nifty and just trade it on Nifty back, like you're always getting that, you know, that.
That's what you guys are doing is on Nifty.
Yeah, Nifty. We're that's where we put all our stuff, and they're pretty wild. We started with them when they were a very kind of small, like, budding company, and now they're working with definitely the biggest. I mean, the first big Beeple thing that happened on Nifty Gateway.
Wow.
With all of those $1 drops that are now like hundreds of thousands of dollars and stuff.
Wow.
So, great company. If people are just getting into it, go to niftygateway.com. Just browse around the drops, look around, like, just check it out, and it'll give you the vibe. I will say that, like, it's become the most pricey of the platforms, just because of the collectors who are there. If you're looking for things that are a little more kind of chill in terms of price, there's like Maker's Space, Maker's Place, Rarible, OpenSea, Super Rare. Just Google NFT platforms. There's a bunch that have come up, and so there's a bunch of other platforms that have different kind of price points. But in terms of like quality of work, in my opinion, I think Nifty has the best artists. But I'm also biased because I'm a Nifty artist. So.
Well, hell yeah, man. It's all that stuff is crazy exciting. What's next? So you got the NFT coming up next Monday. What else you got bubbling for the label?
Yeah, I mean, we have the label's crazy because it's been all systems go. And actually, one of the things we're going to try to do is, once we get, we're working on some technology where we can mint our own NFTs and then put NFTs out with our label releases. So that's we're gonna.
That's what I'm working on right now.
Yeah. And that's going to be happening across the board. A lot of people are going to be doing that stuff. So that's cool. We got a cool record out right now by Friend Zone. It's actually like our first pop record that we've put out. It's super radio, and it's called "I Don't Want to Know," featuring Candace Sosa, who's like an incredible singer. She's unbelievable. So we're really pumped on that. That got featured on it's on the Apple Dance playlist. It got on a huge Spotify playlist. So it's dope to see the gatekeepers checking it out. Like Liquid Todd played it on the New Music Show on BPM. So it's nice when you just kind of give it over. And you run a label. It's people do not just repost or add to a playlist just because you're buddies. You know what I'm saying? It's they get so much music, and it's good to know those people, but at the end of the day, the music has to be on the level for them to want to fuck with it. So it's just really cool to see a bunch of records like that. Also the Ranger Trucco records, we've done a bunch with him. Snake and Mala played his track FTP on one of their streams last week. Fucking insane. And it's I didn't send it to Snake or Mala, so they got it somehow and they thought it was dope on its own merit. So those types of stories for the label are just super exciting, because that's just we're doing what we wanted to do, which is let's take these artists you haven't heard of and let's give them an opportunity. And that comes in the way of putting them on the streams. We did all those Tech My House streams to help promote the Tech My House compilation. Last night we had Crimson Child do an hour-long stream to promote his album that we released. So there's a lot of music. If you go to spaceyacht.net, all the music releases are there. So that's a good hub to check it all out. And all the music is super diverse. We have a bunch like Dr. Apollo, who's in the chat. He's on our label. He's like a drum and bass producer, fucking excellent drum and bass producer. And we have another record of his coming out as well. That's actually like kind of like a funny hip hop house record with a drum and bass kind of remix element. So there's no, we're not like a house label. We're not a bass label. We're not, like we literally are across the board of every genre. And so it's been fun to do that. And we have a ton of releases coming up. We got one called Like That by Beauty and the Beats and Midtone coming out this week. And then what else? We got a Genie single coming out. She's like more of a dubstep artist, super heavy, insane. And then we've got another Ranger Truco EP that we're really excited about called Pretty Girls. We think that people are going to like this EP. It's a 2-song EP. So yeah, there's and then we got a bass compilation coming up. So yeah, it's like releases every week, signing a ton of records, putting the shit out, hoping people like it. So yeah, so if you want to check out any of the music, go to spaceyacht.net or on Spotify or on all the platforms. You can just look up Space Yacht. Yeah, it's fun. It's fun stuff. And also we have a lot of clothing. We do a ton of clothing. So spaceyacht.net is another place to go check that shit out as well.
Yeah, go check them out.
What's new? What's new with you? How are you doing? What's been going on in your world?
Man, I been living in Streamland.
You live in the Matrix. We're streamers now.
Living in the Matrix. I've been trying to I moved into this house last September and been just converting it into this production factory, basically, like the holy moly factory we've been calling it, and just been to be honest, I was pretty fucked up I couldn't finish music for like 6 months. I just finally back in the groove. I've just been pumping out tunes, but the first 6 months or so, maybe even longer than that, of the pandemic definitely did a number on my head and my output and all that, but it helped me dig into focusing on getting healthy, food wise, drinking wise, sleeping wise, making music wise.
I gotta get on that.
I just did a whole month of no booze for the first time in a crazy long time, which it's not that hard, but when you're streaming and DJing for people by yourself with 3 lights in your face, 3 cameras, and 3 laptops, and you're like, a drink helps because it's just a little weird. But
right. I understand.
But and then we're just working on, kind of slowed the label down a little bit till now everything looks like I'm trying not to jinx anything, but I'm also trying to have hope. I think things are going to start opening up soon. They are opening up soon. Hopefully we keep it safe and keep it not go back to where all this shit we just went through, and
we'll see. Time will tell. Hopefully we'll be good.
That's something I wanted to ask you about too, is the last, I think we had events till basically the end of February, maybe the beginning of March last year, and I did the 5-year. I had the pleasure of playing the Space Yacht 5-year with you guys at Exchange, and man, that was such a great show.
It was a sick show. Yeah, it was awesome.
And it was
really good.
and it was unannounced lineup, fucking sold out Exchange, fucking packed to the brim. Like before I went on, I would just hear people fucking screaming and chanting, and I was like, doesn't matter if you play at 8 o'clock or 8 in the morning, it's packed and kids going wild. Can't fuck with the Space Yacht shit, man.
That's what's up, baby. That was a good one.
Let us know what you got coming up in that sense. So you guys are going to be doing events again. To what extent? What's going on?
So we got here. Let me actually go. I'm going to go and give you the date. So we have something in Salt Lake City coming up, and it's pretty fucking major. And it's an outdoor pod show, so it's definitely safety first situation. It's called Singularity. It's a 3-day festival. It's on Friday, April 30th. That's our day. We're doing the first day of the festival, and we curated this and booked this. So I'm really stoked to read the lineup for you. It's Ghost Rider, which is Joyride, Back to Back, Ghastly,
Oh shit.
which I think is pretty major. We got Dr. Fresh, we got Noizu, we got Bijou, we got Black Gummy, Shade, Maddie O'Neill, and it's all hosted by Space Yacht. The other days have some more heavy stuff. We got 12th Planet, Whipped Cream, Tisoki, Ace Aura, Nightmare, Abstract on the last day. So it's a huge 3-day fest, but we're programming the Friday. It's on April 30th is our day, 30, April 30th in Salt Lake City. So go check it out. I think we already sold a third of the tickets already just in the first like 10 hours. So this will definitely sell out. And if you're in the area, I highly recommend it. Actually, I'm going to drop the Twitter link in the chat if you want.
Yeah, drop all the links, man. Drop all the links.
I just dropped the link to the Twitter status. It has your info there, and I have the hiccups now. So that's major. We then have a bunch of stuff coming up in San Francisco. We're actually doing a 3-day situation in San Francisco at the Midway, which is we did an open air there like 6 months ago, and it was really well run. Like super, it's all tables, right? It's not general admission, so it's all tables of 4. Everybody's separated. There's what do you call it? There's like security there to make sure like people aren't congregating. So it's really well run. And that's going to be May 7th to the 9th in San Francisco. We haven't announced that yet, but that's a big one coming up for us. We also got one in Austin on the 19th I forget the venue. Hold on. What's the name of the venue? Well, it's not announced yet, but we have that too. So we have this. All of these are open air. All of these are with safety precautions. I mean, Texas just opened up all the way, so I have no idea how they're going to behave there. But for our part, we do still take safety very much into consideration with all of these things. We're not doing indoor, and it's just not how we roll. So we're gonna have Vegas. We're gonna have some Vegas stuff happening in May. There's like the Commonwealth, which is the open air venue there on the rooftop. We're gonna do that. So I mean, shows are kind of back. I mean, obviously it's like very limited capacity, but
man, you got to start somewhere, and that's you guys are doing it right too. Where it's like I think for so long people are just like, oh, you're doing a show, fuck that, you can't do that. And now it's like we gotta have a little hope.
We're in a different look. I was the first person to be yelling on social media when the pandemic started, but now the reality is like times are different. People feel different. People are definitely over it, and also the safety precautions and like the understanding of how you get it is pretty apparent, right? So it's like, if you are safe and you fucking wear a mask and you are smart about how you're distancing, you're fine. Like that really is. And like, look, I'm not a doctor, so for legal reasons, don't listen to me in that, perspective. But I'm, in my experience, I've found that like, I'm very, very cautious. I wear the mask all the time. I am very like, I'm one of the most kind of like safety first, like trying to be distant from people. And it's worked for me so far, again, I'm not a doctor, but so because that's kind of working in some capacity, then let's try these, 25, 50% occupancy shows and see how we go. You know what I mean? And it's very, I sometimes go back into the judgment zone for myself where I'm like, oh, like I'll see someone announce a show. I'm like, what are they doing? And then I'm like, what am I even talking about? We have a show coming up, right? It's like, it's hot. There's an emotional struggle with all this. I feel like we have PTSD from 100%. This and we don't even know how to act, right? We don't even know how we even feel. It's like on some cases we're mad and judgmental. On other cases we're doing it ourselves. And it's like this, like you can't escape the hypocrisy of coming out of this pandemic. And so that's kind of where I'm at, where I'm just like, as long as this is safe and as long as, we're not putting anybody at risk, we're going to go ahead and do this and see how it goes. If for any reason it is a bad look and it's not safe, then we're not going to do it. And, but to your point, we got to walk before we run, and we got to try something. So that's it. I don't know. Look, I don't know if I'm correct. I don't know if that's the right thing, but that's how we're approaching it. What I mean?
Well, I'm with you on all of that, and especially that was my whole thing last year. Is I'm not doing anything into 2021, and I made it to there.
Here we
and
are.
Now, you gotta have hope. We gotta start moving forward and doing this the right way, because there's never we're never going back to normal. There's never gonna be a normal again. It's never going back to like normal. It's always gonna. To be honest, I like the mask thing. I'm so happy that someone at the club isn't spitting in my face when they're being wasted.
I agree. I like it.
I'm in New York where it's fucking freezing, so like it keeps me kind of warm when I go outside.
Yeah.
I go in, no one's that was always my biggest thing since I've been going to raves and clubs is like people fucking spit on you. They come up and talk to you and they will be spitting on you. And that's how you spread shit, and that's why you get sick. I haven't been sick once since we've been wearing a mask.
Yeah.
Thank God, knock on wood.
And that's the thing is like we are aware that like Sound Nightclub in LA, it's not safe right now. And so like that we wouldn't do a show there because it's, well, first of all, there's no indoor shows, but like you can't tell me that that's a safe environment and that you can keep that safe. It's too many people on top of each other. It's sweaty. So that's like a hard no right now. It's like, even if we had the opportunity to, I'd be like, no, I don't really think we're there yet to do that. We're not all vaccinated. It's not. So there are lines, and I think just like the outdoor stuff makes me feel better, you know, and then definitely like the midway where I said where they have security, they're really doing a good job of making sure people aren't congregating who aren't with their table. And, you know, I think, you know, people really want it too. I feel bad. Look, I'm a bit older. I'm operating from a different perspective because I'm married and shit. But like, you know, for younger people, I understand this was very hard. I get that it was really hard on y'all, and like it was really hard to not be social and not see your friends or whatever. So like, I'm feeling for it, and I also feel for all like the businesses and restaurants. We gotta open for them too. You know what I mean? Like some of us have been fortunate to be able to like survive, but like a lot have not. And so let's be safe and let's try to get it back. You know, that's all there is to it.
Well, I've heard nothing but great things about the Midway, and even last year when they were doing stuff, like I've heard nothing but great things of how safe,
amazing
and how
people
everything is. So
and
man,
great people, really nice people.
I'm excited for the future, you know, and that's another thing that we always try to stress on this show is that there's plenty of negative shit to focus on, but we don't focus on that, and we're pushing in the right direction. Amazing new groundbreaking tech and music and visuals and you name it are going on, so it's pretty damn exciting. And
yes sir,
man,
yes,
so you got a set coming up. We're gonna switch over to we're gonna raid Dirty Bird.
Yes, I think for sure.
This is gonna be the new norm, is we're gonna do the interview, you know. This is like we're in the green room before the show just shooting the shit, and then Rami LondonBridge is gonna go play his set. We're all gonna walk out with him, walk up into the club, and so he's got a whole mob mobbing up, a couple more crew, and so he'll do his thing, and then I'll play a couple menus. Anything else you want to plug or go through one more time? So
yeah, Monday on Nifty Gateway at 4 p.m. Pacific, we have our the Space Yacht iconography collection. It's 6 original animation NFTs with 6 original tracks that I wrote personally. And basically like our animator, like the process is like me and the animator, we get together, me, Henry, and the animator, we work on concepts together, and kind of come up with stupid funny shit. And it's a very funny meeting because we all come up with the most asinine crazy shit we can. We settle on the concepts for the collection. Then Sahir, our animator, who's like the man, and we've been working with him for a long time. We met him through Space Yacht smoking patio. He used to bum cigarettes off of Henry. So here we go off, do his madman work, and like kind of start to formulate some of the concepts, and then he'll come back to me and he'll be like, cool, here's the rough drafts of the animations, write music to it. And so then I take like a week and basically approach it like writing an EP, where I'm like, even though they're like minute-long animations and minute-long songs, I try to make them as if they're like actual full songs, and they loop, you know, so at the end of every one it kind of loops perfectly, and there's this kind of like eternal nature to them. But on this collection, this is like the best music I've written like in a really long time. Like honestly, in like the last 10 years, this is like the best shit I've written. So the vibe of the music is much more to my roots, kind of indie rock, if you like that kind of like LCD sound system type kind of organic sounding kind of dance music. That's what it is. I sing on every track. And then Sahir did this amazing visual. So this collection's a real collaboration. It's like original concepts from Space Yacht. And by the way, the concepts are all connected to like things that are part of Space Yacht. Like, so we always have the smiley face, we are so fucked stuff. So there's that in it. We always have the pizza twerk skeleton, like t-shirts. The twerk skeleton's in this eating pizza, smoking a joint. There's one where like he's smoking a joint flying through space. Actually, hold on. Let me show you that one.
Yeah, give us a sneak peek.
Hold on. I'm going to change my virtual background and move out of the way. All right. So here's one. Oh, this is the twerk skeleton on the moon. You can't hear the music, but
Exclusive.
so the NFT has like an original track that he's dancing to. It's pretty dope. And then what else we got here? We got this is the NFT anthem. Again, there's music to this one, but pretty sick. This is my favorite of the collection because you can't hear it right now, but there's an epic thing going on in the music, and then it spins around, and then it's like, whoa! You know what I'm saying? All kinds of shit. So anyway, I don't want to leak. I don't want to leak it too hard. And this is one of our old NFTs from the last collection. It's called Slice of Happiness.
Love it, man. I love it. I love what you guys are doing, bro. I love what's going on here. I'm excited. Man. It gets me excited. I'm excited for the future.
Thanks, man. Yeah. So everybody set your alarm, 4 p.m. Monday, Nifty Gateway. Go grab them. I think it's going to be a 10-minute open edition. So what basically we print as many as are bought in 10 minutes. And that's how the collection's released. You know what I mean? So should be interesting. We'll see what happens.
Sick.
And that's the deal. And then for check out Toon Reactor. We're 3 days a week, twice a week on the Space Yacht channel, and then starting next week on the Monster Cat channel every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 4 p.m. We listen to demos, we give feedback, try to give constructive feedback, and then if there are records that make sense for Space Yacht, sometimes we sign them. And so that's a good show to come check out. And
fuck yeah, man.
What's up? Are you going to DJ now? When does the Dirty Bird stream start?
So Worthy's playing right now. I think we're going to raid over there. Your set's going to go on right at 11 p.m. EST, 8 p.m. PST.
All right, let's go.
I'll play a couple more when you're done.
Hell yeah, I love it. I'm all about it. Well, this has been so fun. Thank you so much for having me. I love chatting about this stuff, so I really appreciate you taking the time.
Yeah, man. We appreciate you. All the couple more crew. Make sure you're following LondonBridge. Make sure you're following Space Yacht.
Yes.
Follow all the things on all the things. And man, I'm excited for that drop. I'm gonna put a bid in on Monday. I'm gonna be sitting there waiting to get
go
one
grab them. Go grab them. We got all kinds of shit going on. I'm really pumped. Honestly, it feels like it feels like a really big day for Space Yacht. So because we did the first two drops and nobody knew what NFTs were, so they sold out and they did really well, but people still didn't understand what we were doing. Now it's like we're doing it and people understand what we're doing. So I'm like really just excited to see the response because I'm like, now you know what we're talking about, you know?
Yeah, so, you're not gonna be able to go to sleep at night for the next.
No, dude, I'm stoked. I'm pumped. I'm ready. Let's go. It feels like releasing. It feels like exactly like releasing an album. That's the feeling that I have with it, where it's like it's something that we've been working on. We've been working on this specific collection now since December. So we're in March, right? So 3 months. This is like a 3-month project that we've been working on, and so that's kind of the excitement that I have, where I'm like, I can't wait to fucking share this stuff with people and see what they think and just have that experience. So
I love it, man.
Exciting,
man. CR Johnson, if Rami wasn't on the stream right now wearing a Mets hat, I would ban you. But yeah.
Oh shit, my bad. I had to rep my team, son. I had to rep the Mets, baby. The Amazes, LFGM. Let's go, Pete Alonso. Lindor is here. Let's go. Jacob deGrom, 2-time Cy Young winner. I'm ready for it. Let's go.
I'm playing. I don't really take it that seriously, but I love fucking with people that do though. But yeah, I'm Yankees all day long. But
that's all right. That's all right.
But you it seemed like you follow a little bit more than me. I like the Yankees when they were going to the I'd say 15, 16 years ago, maybe 20 years ago, I paid attention like
the Jeter
now
years.
I don't know.
When
I don't know shit now.
I'm a diehard Mets fan. I watch every game. And I also watch the Dodgers a bit. It's like if it's Dodgers versus Mets, I'm rooting for the Mets. But living in LA, it's fun to watch the Dodgers because Mookie Betts is like one of the best players I've ever seen. So I'm a big Mookie Betts fan, even though I'm a diehard Mets fan. So and Lakers too. I mean, I'm not. I've been watching the Brooklyn Nets. I see you got the hat, but and I've been watching like a little bit of the Knicks, but hard not to root for LeBron in your city. You know what I mean? The King. King James, baby.
Anytime I ever went to a Knicks game, they always lost. in the
Yeah,
last quarter. Every
it's hard
time.
to be a Knicks.
Every
I grew
time.
up a Knicks fan, and I got love for them, but it's hard to actually root for them these days. But
Well,
yeah,
anyway,
hold
we're
on.
gonna go. We're
right,
gonna
yeah.
all roll out from the green room.
Let's
Finish
do
your
it.
drinks up.
Let's do it.
Finish
Let's do it.
Finish your joints, and then we're gonna go. We're rolling deep out to go check out. We're gonna check the last 10 minutes of Worthy, and then London Bridge's debut.
I'm gonna change.
couple
I'm
more
gonna change
sets.
my. I'm gonna change my outfit. I think I'm gonna change my outfit. I gotta change into something more comfortable.
Do it.
for this
Do it
set.
up. We'll wait for you. So we'll see you out there. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. Rami, London Bridge, appreciate you, brother.
Thanks for having me.
I'll see you. I'm coming out to LA as soon as this shit's over, so I'll see you one of these days.
Let's do it, brother. Always down.
So yes, thank you, everybody. We're about to flip over right now. Drop some couple mores up in the Dirty Bird chat.
Let's go.
We got Worthy playing, and then
I'm gonna drop some rockets. I'm gonna drop some rockets in the chat.
Drop some rockets. Make sure you're following. Once again, make sure you're following London Bridge Space Yacht and the Space Yacht page. Everything. Let's go, crew. Peace.